Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are continuing our season preview series today as we take a look at the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers kind of had some blockbusters. We're going to take a look at their major acquisition this summer, and if it's enough for them to get over the hump. You guys know what I'm talking about. Their state rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Can they get over the Tampa Bay Lightning? Did the improvements that they made this season, could they win the Stanley Cup in 2023? We'll take a look at that today. So, for context, it was a rough season for the Florida Panthers. It was a season with so much promise and so much excitement. They were playing so well all season. They end up winning the Atlantic Division in 2022. They end up getting past the first round. They brought in Claude Giroux as a key acquisition during the trade deadline period. Ben Chiarot came in, and they get swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Don't let anybody forget that. And I think that, listen, to kind of make things easier, ask the Calgary Flames how it feels. They won their division, and they basically got swept by the Edmonton Oilers. So they are not the only ones with this struggle, and fittingly, they're the two teams that made this significant trade. So no longer is Mackenzie Weegar or Jonathan Huberdeau in Florida. That's going to kind of be weird to say next season, but they brought in Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk was the Florida Panthers' key addition this summer. They did also lose Ben Chiarot and Claude Giroux. So the Florida Panthers, yes, they did have a couple of guys leave, but I think they're confident in their prospect pool that they'll be able to kind of get over that. Now, you look at some of their additions, obviously the big one, Matthew Tkachuk. In free agency, they brought in Rudolph Balcers and Colin White. So a couple of additions there for the Florida Panthers. Again, Tkachuk obviously is going to be the big guy that's going to reinvigorate and reignite the rivalry here in Tampa and Florida. I don't think the Tampa Bay Lightning fans are going to like Matthew Tkachuk very much, but I know the Florida Panthers fans will. Colin White and Balcers, depth forwards that will probably play in the bottom six. They actually have Balcers listed on the second line, which is kind of interesting, but I think the Florida Panthers will be all right there. Again, you could consider this an addition or not. Kalle Shalin, seems to be a guy I think could make the roster. Kind of an outside chance when you look at that blue line, especially with Mark Stahl coming in, but there is an opportunity for him there. Lucas Carlson comes in as well, and Mark Stahl and Eric Stahl, who is on a PTO. So Eric Stahl's on a PTO, Mark Stahl is signed. So the Florida Panthers, I have to say, their blue line looks okay. You got Forsling and Ekblad, Carlson and Gudis as your second pair, and then Stahl and Montour as your third pair. Again, nothing really all that sexy, but again, if they play the system, the Florida Panthers will be all right. For the most part, they didn't really have to make many changes, right? And when you look at their goals for and goals against last season, 13th in the NHL for goals against. So again, that comes down to goaltending, I think, more so than anything. And they were kind of soft in front of the net, and we'll get back to that in a second. I think that's part of the reason they struggled against Tampa Bay. Goals for was first in the NHL, so they could score plenty of goals. They had no problem with that. They were the cardiac cats. There were games they were down 3, 4, 5 goals, and they would find ways to win those games. Again, when it comes to the playoffs, and Tampa Bay in particular, they weren't able to do that. So what did they need to address this offseason? They weren't going to change the goaltending. I think they like Knight and Bobrovsky. They would have liked to have traded Bob, but there's just no way to get that done. And they needed to get tougher in front of the net. I remember watching that Capital series. I remember saying that in the post-game videos at the end of the series. I remember saying, Florida is not going to go far. I was really disappointed in that first round. Even though they beat Washington, they were not tough enough in front of the net. There was so many times where the goaltender, whether it was Knight or Bobrovsky, would make the first save. And to their credit, they did leave. There were rebounds in front of the net, but their defensemen were soft. You were seeing a lot of times where the opposing team was just batting the pads of the goaltender, trying to stuff in rebounds and recovering rebounds and getting second and third opportunities. That's a no-no. You're not going to have success that way. And I think that the Florida Panthers tried to address that. Lucas Carlson's a big guy. Mark Stoll obviously is a pretty big dude. Those are guys that will make it more difficult in front of the net. And I think that's where the Florida Panthers were, that was their weakness last year. They were very good offensively and in between the pipes, and they had the roster, but they were too soft systematically, and I think that's ultimately why they changed their coaching staff. That's why they've got a new coach there. I think it's Paul Maurice. So the Florida Panthers, is Paul Maurice that good? You could argue yes and no, but I think that there's an opportunity for success with him, for sure, and I think they just needed a systematic change, and that was really their weakness. If they can fix that, they could be tougher to play against. What do they call it? The house, inside the house, the trapezoid, whatever you want to call it. If they are tougher to play against there, not giving up rebounds in front of the net, not giving up second and third opportunities defensively, the Florida Panthers are, again, going to be a top team. And listen, I was going to pull out my shirt, the Atlantic Division Champion shirt for 2022, but I didn't want to do that to you guys. Listen, I can assure you for most of this season, I hope the Florida Panthers have that shirt in their locker room next season, 2022 Atlantic Division Champions, because that's going to piss them off, right? They're like, yeah, we won the division, but it doesn't mean anything. We want to win a Stanley Cup, and we got embarrassed in the second round last year. Don't let it think that that doesn't sting right now, hopefully for the Panthers, and hopefully that carries through the entire season next year. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Do you think the Florida Panthers will finally get over the hump and beat the Tampa Bay Lightning? Because I'm expecting a first or second round matchup with Tampa Bay next year. Can they get over that hump? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.